Mr. Lamb, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to say first, there's been a lot of attention so far at, I guess, non-institutional care or care at home, which I think is really important and want to come back to. But I did want to plug quickly the VA hospital in my district, which is in Aspinwall, Pennsylvania, and just outside the city of Pittsburgh. I've visited their long-term care section, I think, twice. And it is just such a credit to the VA as an institution. You know, they have these men in particular, mostly, who've been living there for quite a while. And the nurses will bring food from home or food from the outside and cook like a home-cooked meal for them in this kitchen that they have set up. These people really go out of their way to make it feel like an actual home and not an institution. And to me, that is the model. There's always going to be some people who are going to need that institutional care. And the more, I think VA is so uniquely positioned to make it just a lot sort of better and more informal and comfortable than it might be anywhere else. So just wanted to compliment that nursing staff in particular in Western Pennsylvania. And I think it does help remind us the way you get there. It's partially about culture, but it's partially about, I think, the way those nurses have been treated throughout their career. You know, they've been paid well, they're members of a union, they're looked after, they have job security. They obviously feel very passionately about the veterans that they're serving. You know, they care about the cause. And I remember a lot of them telling me their fathers were veterans and that sort of thing. But that's just a part of the VA institution that we cannot afford to lose. And I think as we go forward, we want to stay mindful of that when you treat people right, they treat the veterans right. So with all that in mind, I did want to ask, there's clearly going to be a need to hire not only nurses, but also home health aides, because we are going to move less in the institutional direction probably in the future. That also happens to be the most growing and in-demand job in America as a whole. So everybody's trying to hire these people. So I was wondering if you could just kind of clue me in. I know you have a plan coming out, but what's the plan for the VA to get the best of the best so that the next generation of veterans is treated as well as the ones I've seen? Go ahead.
Congressman Lamb, first of all, thank you for that information about the Western Pennsylvania CLC. I will definitely pass that on. I have with us today, of course, Dr. Taylor, and we are in constant conversation about this, so I'd like her to help you with that.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments about the nursing staff in Western Pennsylvania. As a nurse with many veterans in my family, it is an honor for us to serve those who have served, and I know most of my colleagues around the country feel very passionately about our mission, so thank you, sir, for recognizing that. We're putting a lot of energy and effort into ensuring that we have our hiring initiatives and our positions filled. So for long-term care in particular, from fiscal year 18 to fiscal year 19, we actually increased our onboard strength in nursing assistants by 5%. Not a lot, but certainly a good uptick from year to year, year over year. In that same time period, year over year, we increased our RN onboard strength by 6% for long-term care programs. So we recognize that it's really important to make an investment and to be very assertive in our recruitment efforts. The other thing that I just want to mention is we have in VHA a fairly healthy scholarship program that is attractive to nurses coming in the door because they see us as not only a great mission where they can get fair compensation. Of course, we can't be market leaders, but we can compensate fairly with good
That's
benefits.
great. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we do have limited time. What about the home health aide category? So not really nurse, but the type of people who are in the civilian world right now are sort of lucky to be making $13 or $15 an hour.
Yes. So those fall into the same category as nursing assistants, and so we have seen an uptick in our hiring for those. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to leave you with this thought to take back. I know this decision is not totally in your hands, but the VA is not being kind to the federal employees union in a lot of places around the country. There's some variability based on local leadership, but under this administration, they've locked them out of offices. They've made it difficult for the union officials to do their jobs. And the type of the people who are going to take a home health aide or nursing assistant job are often the people who need that sort of protection and support the most. And I think for us to recruit the best of the best in that category for the next generation, You're going to want the people who are already there telling their friends, hey, VA is a great place to work. They stick up for us. They pay us well. They take care of our needs. If we get sick and we have to miss, we're covered, that sort of thing. We're going to lose that if it becomes a hostile environment, particularly for people on the lower end of the scale. So please take that back and just try to reinforce that important part of the culture. Thank you. Madam Chair, I yield back.
Mr. Lamb, and thank you for raising that important issue. So